Most killers leave evidence. This one left silence. No witnesses, no reports. February 1957, a quiet wooded lot in Philadelphia. A college student notices a cardboard box resting in the brush. It looks ordinary, the kind used to ship a baby's bassinet. Inside is the body of a young boy, about 4 years old. He is underweight, bruised, scarred. Someone had recently bathed him, his hair had been crudely cut, and no one had reported him missing. That last detail changes everything, because children don't vanish without someone noticing, unless someone chooses not to notice. Police launched one of the largest investigations in Philadelphia's history. Flyers were printed by the thousands. His face appeared in newspapers. Detectives knocked on doors across neighborhoods. Authorities even displayed his body publicly, hoping someone would recognize him. No one did. He became known as the boy in the box. Not a name, a label, and labels are what we give mysteries when we don't have answers. Years passed, tips poured in, then collapsed. One woman claimed her abusive mother had purchased a young boy illegally. Another theory pointed toward trafficking. Others suggested adoption gone wrong. None could be proven. The bruises suggested long-term abuse. The fresh bath suggested preparation. That combination is chilling. It implies familiarity. Not panic, intention. Someone cleaned him before placing him inside that box. Someone had time, and still, no missing child report matched his description. It was as if he had lived outside official existence. Pause for a moment and think about that. How does a child become invisible? In the 1950s, there were no centralized databases. No Amber Alerts. No digital footprints. Families could move quietly. Records could disappear. Systems were fragile. A child could slip through cracks that barely had edges. And that is perhaps the most haunting part of this case. Not just that he was killed, but that no one publicly searched for him. If you care about cases like this, if giving forgotten victims their names back matters, make sure you subscribe. Because the next part of this story changes everything, and it reshapes how cold cases are solved today. For decades, the case sat in evidence storage, then forensic genealogy changed the rules. DNA technology began evolving in the early 2000s. Investigators realized that even without a suspect, they could trace family trees using distant relatives in public databases. It was slow, painstaking, like assembling a shattered mirror from microscopic shards. Detectives preserved the boy's DNA carefully. They believed science might one day succeed where traditional investigation had failed. In 2022, it did. Through genealogical reconstruction, authorities identified him as Joseph Augustus Zarelli. For the first time in 65 years, the unknown child had a name, Joseph. Headlines celebrated the breakthrough. It felt like justice had finally arrived, but naming him did not solve his murder. It raised new questions. Joseph had biological parents. He had siblings, yet he was never publicly reported missing. Why? Records suggest he may not have been living openly within his immediate family. Much of the surrounding detail remains sealed to protect surviving relatives. That silence creates tension, because now we know who he was, but not who ended his life. The paradox is haunting. We restored his identity, but accountability remains uncertain. No charges have been filed publicly. The person responsible may already be gone. Think about that. For 65 years, the world didn't know his name. Now we do. And yet, the most important answer, who killed Joseph, may still be buried. It's like unlocking a door after decades, only to discover another one behind it. Joseph Augustus Zarelli now rests beneath a gravestone bearing his real name. That matters. Names restore dignity. They restore humanity. But dignity is not justice. Justice requires accountability. And that remains unresolved. This case forces us to confront something uncomfortable. Sometimes the greatest mystery isn't who committed the crime, it's how a child could suffer unnoticed. How silence can stretch across generations, how easily someone can become invisible. Joseph's story isn't just about murder, it's about systems, it's about memory, it's about whether society chooses to look away, or lean in. His identification proves something powerful. Time does not always erase truth. Sometimes it preserves it. DNA became the voice he never had, and that changes everything. But Joseph's case is only one example. In our next video, we're diving deeper into the technology that made this breakthrough possible, how forensic genealogy is solving decades-old mysteries, how DNA is reopening cases once considered impossible, and how modern science is reshaping the future of justice. From the boy in the box to other cold cases across the country, we'll explore how technology is becoming the ultimate witness, because if science can recover a name after 65 years, what else is waiting to be uncovered? If you're fascinated by how cold cases are being reopened, and how modern DNA is changing criminal investigations forever, subscribe and turn on notifications. Drop a comment below. Do you think Joseph's killer is already gone? Or still unknown among us? Your theory might shape our next discussion, because some mysteries fade, and others wait.